My name is Bridget Nabrowski, and I will be presenting on self-injurious behavior in older adults with intellectual disabilities. Self-injurious behavior, or SIB, is a non-suicidal, repetitive, and deliberate condition whereby an individual causes physical injury, tissue damage, or both to his or her body. Those with intellectual disabilities are more likely to develop SIB, and it is associated with biological disorders, mental health conditions, and socio-environmental stressors. Those conditions and an increase in disability become more important in detecting SIB if there is a noticeable change in frequency and severity. It is considered the most difficult issue to support in individuals with intellectual disabilities. Issues such as work and retirement changes, loss, and reduced social support can affect and increase SIB in older adults. And with an increase in life expectancy, there are more older adults with IDD experiencing SIB. For the biophysical factors, SIB can arise and be maintained by dysregulation of neurotransmitters. There is a predisposition to the development and continuation of SIB, and there are genetic syndromes that have specific SIB features. There is a discomfort, physical health, and limited mobility and communication that can increase the frequency. The frequency, intensity, and target of SIB can indicate location of pain and be an expression that pain is occurring or fear and frustration in detecting abilities, and can cause serious personal physical injury and other adverse outcomes. So some examples of physical injuries are self-cutting, smacking oneself, hair pulling, teeth grinding, and this can also lead to scarring and tissue damage, retina damage, or blindness if the behavior becomes extreme. These psychological factors it serves as a sensory arousal or a stimulator, so it can cause or regulate pain or produce euphoria. It is a coping mechanism for feelings of despair, emotional pain, and low self-esteem. And there is a higher frequency and severity rates with older adults with lower levels of intellectual disabilities. So it is due to the lack of communication and inability to express. And there are psychiatric illnesses such as depression, mania, anxiety, and PTSD. These social factors are the social learning theory, which states that SIB is a result of learning and behaving from watching others. So for instance, a person may observe another using SIB to avoid a task or gain attention from another, and that individual who observed the task may exhibit similar behaviors in hopes of the same result. It manifests in individuals across a range of residential settings, so no matter small or large care institutions, family homes, or independent living. There is a high prevalence of self-injury in larger institutions, and there are more people in larger institutions, so they're more likely to be imitating the behavior of others. And there are life changes and socio-environmental stressors that can trigger SIB reactions. So separation or loss of another, relocation, strong emotions due to changes, and feelings of frustration, anger, and grief resulting from these social factors can lead to SIB. What attracted me to the social issue is that I'm a very big advocate for mental health, but I only know the self-injurious behavior through the lens of mental health when it is connected to suicide. So I didn't have any prior knowledge of SIB with the no attention of suicide. So I'm very interested in learning more about that and learning more about older adults with IDD when it's connected to SIB and other possible behaviors. For the implications of social work practice, so social workers can encounter individuals with IDD within healthcare settings and social service agencies. They have a role in assessment, coordination of care, individual and or family counseling, and negotiation of needed services. They use skills of advocacy and intervention when necessary, so intervention for behavioral environmental, and pharmacological. There is an awareness of many sporadic episodic and aging-related chronic health issues that may not initially be detected and diagnosed. So these are resulting from positive or negative reinforcing operants like seeking attention, self-stimulation, avoidance of task, and communication of pain. And they take into account environmental, emotional, and social factors associated with the transition and increased age. And there's a usage of the systems-based theoretical approach. So it considers interaction between biopsychosocial factors to determine cause, and observation, examination, and recognition of new patterns and potential causes are very important. And how it addresses the larger society. SIB can be found within any individual due to mental health issues, disease, or socio-environmental stressors. And individuals with IDD are just a small portion of the population with SIB. Poor health in individuals can increase such behaviors, so it can lead to recognitions of undiagnosed diseases. And it affects more people than just the individual who is self-harming. So coping can cause psychosocial stress for families and their caregivers. It can increase in financial struggles and the feeling of hopelessness and wanting to do more than they truly can. These are my references, and thank you very much.